download from the BBC. To find out more, go to bbc.co.uk/6music.
Podcast, you say?
Podcast.
Everyone loves a podcast.
We are casting this pod. Oh, what should we do with this pod?
We should split the pod open and let all the spores out.
Oh, the spores. Then what would happen to you, Trevor Lock?
I'd sniff them up into my little nose and then breathe them out.
And then you, Matt, what would you do with them spores?
I'd pull Trevor's head off and shake it like a pepper pot all over England.
All over England. And I, Russell Brand, would stand beneath consuming that pepper right into my own nasal cavity, and then what I'd sneeze out would be this podcast, wouldn't it, Matt?
Probably, yes.
Probably be something like this, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Should we have some guests on this podcast?
Yes.
I wonder who they'll be.
Don't know. Who's in your phone?
Blimey, no one really. I just live the quiet life at home with a cat. Listen to our podcast now. Bye. Love you. You listen to Russell Brand on 6 Music. I'm here with Matt and Trevor. We're talking about fear and things we're frightened of. What are you scared of Alsatians for?
Because I was mauled by one as a child. I was
Mauled?
bitten on the legs.
Bitten on the legs?
Really badly.
Why when you did legs, did you do sort of a Larry Grayson style bum wiggle?
Just in case you'd forgotten what legs were.
I know what legs are. Them things, them sticks, what we walk about on, what's got toes on the end.
Yeah, well, those got bitten off almost by a dog.
Hold on, wasn't there another Alsatian incident with you? Was it that?
Oh, yes.
What was that then? Didn't you have an Alsatian as a sort of a girlfriend when you were a toddler?
When I was a baby, I couldn't talk. I was a baby in a little baby chair in a car.
I was a baby. Matt talking about his past. I was once an explorer. It's not a past life. This is a quantum leap. I used to be a baby in a chair, then I was a slave trader.
Yeah, well, I was a baby and somehow...
We were all babies, Matt.
All right, well, I'm just setting the scene. Otherwise, people might think I was some sort of perverted 10-year-old in this story. And I was tied. I was strapped into a chair, unable to move. And my parents were talking. My nan was there because she told me the story.
Because you'd suppressed this memory, hadn't you, Matt? And
I didn't know it had happened, and they said...
Your family reminded you recently, didn't they?
Yeah, not like a year ago it first came out, and the Alsatian had got into the car and tried to...
Got into the car, I imagine it wearing a waistcoat, jangling its car keys. Right, we're off.
And sort of dry humped me for a while.
I'm glad it was dry.
Oh, yeah.
And it bought oils. One would be terrified. Also, we're not going to be so puerile on this show. Last week we were a bit cheeky, weren't we? We did the show in the nude. We got told off. Matt's little dinkle turned up on the webcam. So this week we're going to be a lot more high-minded, a lot more highbrow. We're going to be talking about Wittgenstein, we're going to be talking about Baudelaire, we're going to be talking about the nature of fear and Freud's theory of the uncanny. Oh, yeah.
Being humped by dogs.
That's going to crop up as well, naturally, because line high culture is something you'll get here. OK, so you're, as a consequence, scared of Alsatians?
That's not as a consequence of that, because I don't really remember that, but I was bitten by a dog. Why are you focusing on the little girlfriend dog incident?
But why did it come up again? I don't understand why they felt the need to bring it up all those years later.
My nan said, we were very worried about you when this happened. We wondered if, because you were a bit funny afterwards.
How were you funny afterwards?
Bit funny.
I don't know. I think I'd sort of...
Well, we used to dress the family dog up in lingerie and call it Mrs. Morgan. Pretend it was his wife. Tried to take it to the Trust House 40 for a dirty weekend. OK, so we're going to be talking about fear, the nature of fear.
Matt Whitby has emailed in saying he's scared of moths and butterflies, which I can understand, because moth dust.
Yeah. What do you mean, do I know it?
I can't, wait.
Oh yeah, moth dust, that cheeky little
I don't know
dust.
what moth dust is. What's moth
You
dust?
touch a moth.
Oh, with this thing it has on its wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dust.
How come the words moth and dust in conjunction did not immediately trigger for you the idea of moth dust? How does your mind work? Do you understand the concept of syntax?
I thought it was death crumbled up, moths crumbled up and they make dust after they've died.
Why would anyone do that, Trevor? Why would anyone crumble up a moth? Anyone who's a regular listener to the show will know that Trevor Lock likes to torture animals, and the idea of crumbling up moths to Trevor Lock comes more immediately than the certain knowledge that moths and butterflies have that coating of dust. Everyone knows that.
That's Trevor's Alpen.
A delicious bowl of moth dust full of mouthy goodness.
Why do they have that dust on their wings, I wonder?
Probably protects them in some way, Trevor.
But why don't butterflies have it?
Butterflies do have it. They do have it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Butterflies have it.
Why do you think them having that moth dust is frightening, Matthew?
Because I think moths are like zombie butterflies, and and when you touch them, there's stuff comes off them, and they're
Same with
wrong,
butterflies.
and they're dumb, and they just flash.
Trev, stop trying to drag the butterfly down with a moth. You're weird, thinking that moths are like zombie butterflies. Plus, your childhood, mate. I've been thinking about it. It's a mess. Right, later on.
Going back to the mushrooms, she must have been forced to eat mushrooms as a child.
Possibly that, or perhaps she lived in a fairy kingdom with gnomes.
Like the Smurfs, they lived in mushrooms.
They did all live in mushrooms. And Noddy lived in a mushroom, didn't he? Well, why mushroom? I suppose
Noddy didn't live in a mushroom.
He lived in a mushroom.
He lived near a mushroom. There was definitely a mushroom in that.
Yeah,
he lived in that car with that big-eared guy.
What
was his name?
But the thing is, if you eat
was
those,
that big-eared man?
if you eat those
Tell me your name, big-eared man.
You shall never guess it.
Riddle me this. What is my identity? I can't. I'm just focusing on your big ears. Too much to think of what your name is. Trev, come and tell us about your fear, Trev. Stop hiding your light under a bushel.
I'm frightened of water, actually.
Hydrophobia. Rabid Trev.
What are you scared of water for? What do you mean?
I don't know. I have this memory, and I'm not sure if it's a past life memory or a real memory.
Yeah, it's always difficult, that.
Yeah.
Is it mumbo-jumbo lies, or is it an actual fact? Come on then, Trev, why are you scared of water for?
Well, I think I nearly drowned, in a swimming pool when I was 4 years old.
Well, but
I think there's some words missing that. I think I nearly drowned someone.
Yeah, and that someone was a mouse.
No, listen, but I get panic attacks in the shower, and it's...
I panic at the thought of you in the shower, Trev. Lathering yourself up, tucking yourself away. Yes. Mucky business.
Sometimes I have to have someone in the room with me if I take a bath.
That's an interesting excuse. You have to... Could you stand in the room with me, nurse? Would you mind hitching up your suspendies?
It's a thing that comes and goes like
Are
this
you
lady.
joking?
I'm not joking, it's a thing that comes and goes like this lady with the mushrooms. But,
so hang on, I can understand being scared of the sea.
Yeah, the sea is really difficult for me, but sometimes I can do it, but sometimes I can't. I nearly drowned in the sea once because I suddenly got a panic, but luckily my friend Sam Tapsell was there and he helped me.
Sam Tapsell, you made-up fool.
Yeah.
What on earth did you rescue Trevor for? I must say, let's mention, like, on the website, that brilliant cartoon of Trevor Locke with his dragon Ricky.
It's amazing.
And a mouse drowning in the background. Someone sent in a cartoon of it.
It's really good. It's actually cut off on the website. It's not all there. On my MySpace, you can see the whole thing. It's brilliant. It's got a dead pike in it.
Don't advertise you on MySpace, you womanising fiend.
I'm advertising a brilliant picture done by a listener.
Have a look at it. Whoever that person is, do you know their name?
She's called Lorna in Hastings.
Lorna, do some cartoons with me and Matt as well. Do all of us.
She will. She's a brilliant cartoon artist. I've got some of her comics.
You're really talented.
Really?
Brilliant.
Yeah, she sent comics in, yeah.
My biggest fear is if my chick finds out about the other chick, will my gonads remain intact? Sent by Anonymous because she's upstairs.
Oh, please.
Cheeky swine.
We've got his number. We can out him.
Yeah, let's out him. That's not nice, is it?
What, having an affair?
Oh, I don't like people calling people chicks and boasting about it on radio and then referring to things as gonads. Oh, no.
Trevor, what's the objection?
That's not what this radio station is for.
He's only actually annoyed at the language the man's used, not actually the
not
actions.
the morality. No, Trevor, you live in an amoral universe. You're a nihilist, Trev. You believe nothing has meaning. Do you?
Yeah.
Defend yourself,
I
Trevor.
don't believe that. I do believe that. I don't even believe that because I don't even believe
because that's
anything.
a belief. To believe in nihilism would be a belief. Ooh, consider that, nihilists.
Yeah.
So, this one...
Nihilists.
Nihilist, potato. If you don't care about meaning, you're not going to care about the pronunciation of nihilism, are you? Now... Yeah, listen to this is interesting. From Simon on the megabus to Newcastle. I'm scared of Nosy Bonk. He was on Kids TV in the 80s. He wore a white mask and had a big long nose. He gives me nightmares. I hate him. From Simon on the megabus to Newcastle.
Yep, I'm with him on that.
I'm with him. Do you remember that thing? Nosy
frightening.
Bonk. That white face thing.
Looks like an albino oyster catcher.
He does look... What? Trevor, don't try and drag
if you get a picture of an oyster catcher up and you put it next to that picture that we've got up, an oyster catcher, no, it's a bird.
Ah.
And that looks like an albino oyster catcher.
That looks like an albino. Have you been touched by one, Trev? Because you and I have carried on. He used to be on Jigsaw, didn't he, that Nosy Bonk thing? And I remember, was it Janet Ellis or someone was on that? He was always a bit flirty and a bit sexual with her, and it used to make me feel I wanted her, Janet Ellis.
He mimed clues to something, but he was just scary.
That should not have been allowed on our tellies when we were kids. A lot of things were on telly that shouldn't have been.
But I think that's what you like. As a kid, you want to be frightened. It's great to have something that's scary.
That's how Trevor justifies his playground antics. I think when kids want to be frightened, they want me turning up there in my long Snoopy nose mask.
No, but I don't know if it's just because we were kids then, but didn't telly just seem to be much more scary then?
Dogtanian, he scared me.
That wasn't scary. But do you remember The Boy from Space?
Yeah, that was, and Chucky, and then Benji, Zack and the Alien Prince. It was all weird.
That was scary.
I suppose let's not get bogged down in kids' TV, because otherwise we might end up going, do you remember Spangles? Do you remember them?
White dog poo.
Oh, what happened to that?
Done it. Yeah.
I wanted to say something then. About childhood. Oh yeah, D'Artagnan. I wanted to just remember this thing because I love this. On like Big Brother last year, when Anthony from Newcastle won it, there was this bit where he was in a diary room and they had to do a quiz to win food or something like that. And there's this question where they goes to Anthony. He's in the diary room. And there's like a ticking clock as if it's countdown or something. They go, Anthony, can you name a famous horse? Right, so a famous horse, Red Rum, Shergar, something like that. Anthony from Big Brother goes, a famous horse. The only one I can think of is maybe Sandy from D'Artagnan. Sandy, as if it would be that Sandy, D'Artagnan's horse, as a famous horse. That'd be about the 1,000th horse you would think of. That's not even the most famous cartoon horse. That's lovely, isn't it? That in his brain he thought that might happen.
Yeah, but what's scary is if that had been the right answer, he wouldn't have gone away and thought that was very odd that was the right answer.
It's a bit weird. That's
I got it, man.
D'Artagnan's horse. Well, I just had an instinct that it would be that. We've got Elizabeth on the phone. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's this fear that you have? What irrational fear have you got?
Well, I don't like seagulls.
Why?
Well, I don't know. My parents live in Dover, and every time I go see them, I
Then
have
you
to...
shouldn't like asylum seekers. I'm only mucking about. It's just that the people of Dover are as decent as the rest of
I
us.
hate them. They think they're all big and clever, and it's...
We're talking about seagulls now, not asylum seekers, aren't we?
Yeah.
They come over here, they think they're all big and clever, they're seeking some asylum. I just want some asylum. Seagulls, what? Yeah, I mean, I know they're getting more confident, seagulls, aren't they? Coming down, stealing shit. They're getting more confident. Why are you questioning that, Matt?
What? That sounds like there's not some sort of stock exchange of animal arrogance.
Seagulls are up, whereas foxes and bears are quaking in their little foxy boots. They are. They're getting, because they're becoming desensitised. Like the seagulls.
I also think they might have started smoking.
Are you smoking, seagull? No, because I think what it is because they're getting used to humankind now. They're thinking, we can just nick their chips or go into a
Humankind, they've been
baby's
around for
pram.
hundreds of years. Just in your lifespan,
Hundreds of
you
years.
think seagulls. You live in the city.
I've noticed seagulls getting more confident. Earlier, I was one of them. I'm working on our MTV show now. Boastful little creature he is as well. I am truly terrified of butterflies, especially red admirals. Weird thing is, my name means butterfly. Spooky from White Cabbage Fairfax. I'm joking. She's called Vanessa.
Vanessa means butterfly.
Does it though? Where's the evidence of this? I'm scared of Nout because I'm a northerner. Den, Wigan. Nice one, Den. Goody, I enjoyed that. You selected that, did you, Trev?
Yes, I did. I chose it myself.
What made you select it, dear?
I thought it was upbeat. I love the man's voice. Is it a man? Could it be a woman? I don't know. He's called Frankie, but it could be a lady Frankie or a man Frankie. I think it's a man Frankie.
I think it's this androgyny that turns you on, isn't it, Trev? I bet you'd like the idea of taking someone called Frankie back to your house, not knowing right until their nightie came up whether it was a boy or a girl.
You found me out, young man.
That's the way you live your life. Yo, Russell, I have a fear of buttons, especially those weird marble effect ones. Scary stuff. That's Tom in Manchester. A lot of people are scared of buttons. Why is that, Matt?
That is because as toddlers or babies, they were forced into tight cardigans, and they associate
Tight cardigan. They were forced into tight cardigan. Any particular child that was forced into tight cardigan?
That's true. Look,
Any
it's very common.
Alsatian-loving little nippers from Dartford?
I thought buttons are a little bit like seeds as well, buttons, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, and everyone's scared of
just like
seeds,
seeds.
aren't they?
Seeds are magical, aren't they? 'Cause
Yeah, everyone believes this. Well, that's a commonly held belief. The magic of seeds, the similarity of seeds to buttons, the terror of the seed.
It is. You get a seed. It's got life in it, isn't it? You pop it in the ground, and then a little tree comes out, and it grows and grows and grows.
That's not frightening. That's beautiful.
Nothing to do with buttons.
Nothing. Why are you saying these things, Trevor? You've been put on this earth to annoy us and dress like Alan Bennett.
Do you remember
your
when
function?
when we were kids and you had those little shark's tooth buttons? They looked like
Yeah.
teeth, but they were on your Paddington.
Toggles.
Yeah.
I liked those.
I liked those.
Yeah.
I still have a recurring dream about the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Katie from Edinburgh. I like that guy.
Loads of people have mentioned him.
But I suppose that's because he was literally a child catcher. We're children, we're watching it. It's going to plant seeds of terror.
But he
Seeds of terror, Trevor. Perhaps you're right.
do you know, it's because he did ballet.
What do
He
you
was
mean?
a ballet dancer, the guy who played
And
him.
he kidnapped children.
Yes,
People
but he-
weren't quaking under their bed going, oh no, I hope you don't do an arabesque. Yeah, they were scared that he was going to kidnap them.
No, they weren't
No,
scared
ballet.
of ballet, but, it was creepy.
The balletic movement, you mean?
Yes.
There was something
Ballet
creepy
teachers
about
are
that.
scary as well, aren't they?
Did you do ballet as a child, Trev?
Not really, no.
Well, why are you scared of ballet teachers
Well,
then? What's it
but
got to do with
it
you?
could still happen. Someone could get me and teach me.
Also, you just said you like the child catcher.
I do like him.
You dress like him.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
That's why people are listening to the show and thinking, yeah, I don't like the child catcher.
So for some reason I'm irritated by the child catcher. People wearing eyeliner. I'm finding it annoying. Dreaming about losing your teeth represents fear of losing money and success. Makes me thinks no fears myself other than having an accident on my bike and breaking my bone, highly likely the way some nutters drive. Love this show. My heart goes out to poor Trev, who was not put on this earth to be your gimp. If he was, he would be fired.
Also, you said that Trevor's scared of losing his teeth and that it was a fear of losing success and money, of which Trevor has neither.
Trevor's got no success and no money, and he's never likely to get any as long as he carries on in this fashion.
Matt Hadley in Worcester says, hey Russell, just watched Rob Brydon in Cruise of the Gods. Enjoyed your one line. Were you scared of being totally cut out?
Well, yeah, it was a bit, because I was a mad junkie in them days, and on that I was supposed to have like a much better part in that, but what I did on that cruise ship, and I remember telling you this, Matt, that was well funny, right, I was a drug addict and that, and we were filming on the Aegean Sea, right, we went to Istanbul, went to like all Athens and loads of Greek islands. It was a really amazing job, and obviously it's with like these brilliant comedy actors.
This was in the period of time where, before the tight closed child catcher period, Russell wore really low jeans with his bum out.
Oh yeah, that caused a lot of problems on the ship.
He phoned me out and goes, oh yeah, this boat's full of squares. There's been complaints because people can see my bum crack.
What's wrong with them? There's nothing wrong with my bum.
Well, pull your trousers up. No, it's my right.
Because the cruise ship they were filming on it also had normal passengers on it, right? And like them passengers, like there was girls and that. I was chatting them up. There were dancers on that boat. I was having it away with them dancers and like carrying on like a nutter. And like I went to Istanbul. I remember sort of like going to an Athenian lap dancing club and causing lots of bother in there. I remember saying, like, yeah, but what this is, Matt, this is because I'm at the beginning of my career, when I'm more successful, and I'm like Jack. I goes, I'll be like Jack Nicholson in 5 or 10 years, I'll be a big movie star. And what these people have got to do is they should treat me like Jack Nicholson. Well, that's funny, wouldn't it? Okay.
Yeah, he goes, people, I keep getting into trouble, but it's because people don't treat me like Jack Nicholson. If Jack Nicholson was here, they'd let him do anything. And I said, yeah, but that's because he's Jack Nicholson. He's successful and he's been in loads of films. Yeah, well, I will one day, so they should start treating me like that.
Matt goes,
you were mad in those days.
Matt goes, on the first day of filming, you should go, right, okay, I want everyone, when you're talking to me and you're around me, sort of treat me as if you're here with Jack Nicholson. Treat me as Jack Nicholson.
It's going to make things a lot easier.
A lot easier. Just imagine it's Jack Nicholson. Don't ever call me Jack, though. That's really going to make me browned off. Call me Russell, but treat me like I'm Jack. They just fired me. Like, that was causing all sorts of...
Oh, yeah, but they fired you in a very funny way.
It was funny. They fired me without telling me. They just goes, oh, right, Russell, yeah, I was maybe filming for 3 weeks, and they goes, Russell, you've got, you're having a little week's holiday now, going back to England. I goes, oh, am I? Thank you. And Brendan Coogan, Steve Coogan's brother, drove me back to the airport, and I was going, do you want me to bring you back anything from Blighty? Some Marmite, some baked beans, some bovril, stuff like that? And then they go, no, it's all right, mate, it's all right. Matt goes, you were like a dog on the way to the vet, being put down, thinking that you were going to the park.
With your head out the window. Oh, I didn't know I had a holiday.
Shall I bring you back a copy of the tabloids? I'm looking forward to this holiday. You are going to die. I'm scared of destroying my career. That's one of the things I'm afraid of. Let's talk about Trevor's fear. What's your fear, mate?
Well, at the minute, it's getting mugged. I mean, not now. I mean, I trust you guys, but...
well, you also. We'll have every last button in your pocket. Seeds of life, they are.
I'm frightened of where I live, Loughborough Junction.
You're frightened of Loughborough Junction?
SE5, yeah.
Why are you scared of it?
Because I had a spate of muggings in the last...
He had a spate of muggings. Trev's like a community. There's a spate of muggings on my leg, whereas my upper thighs remain relatively peaceful. In my armpits there's a caravan site. Would you like to visit? 20p, Trevor Lott caravan sites. You're not a country, Trevor. You are just one man.
Well, not really.
Go on then, Trevor. You had a spate of muggings, so you're scared. Everyone's scared of being mugged, Trev. That's not an unusual fear.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a bizarre phobia.
I find now that I'm in a hurry to get into my house when I park my car, when I get off the bus or out of the tube station.
Right, that's the name.
We have the right to feel safe. You're a good, honest citizen.
Thank
Trev.
you.
Thank you.
He's a mouse murdering fiend.
I'm a good, honest citizen.
He's a good person, but I reckon you did tell me once that you rode a woman's bike with a basket in the front that led you to get mugged, and also you've got a lady's purse.
You have got a lady's purse. You do go about.
Is that to protect you from mugging? So you think that it's so camp they won't steal it?
No, it's not. I've got a lady's purse because my sister gave me a purse when my wallet was stolen.
Make
in another
us feel
mugging.
guilty.
And why have you got a girl's bike then?
Why did your sister give you a girl's purse? She knows you're a boy.
Yeah, look, I don't know.
She's not sure. Perhaps her childhood is just a blanket of animal cruelty. She's never had time to register what gender he is. He's just that enigma in the house, drowning things in a fish tank before a parson.
Purses are actually quite useful. They're more useful than wallets because it's good for loose change, isn't it?
Trev, what are these things about fear? Is that all your story is?
No, I was going to tell you a mugging story, but you keep diverting it with accusations about my masculinity. And this story is going to undermine it further.
Accusations about your cloud machine. go on, tell us the mugging story.
Well, it was about a year ago, and I've been out all day and in the sunshine. I was a little bit tired. I got hot. I got a little bit of sunstroke, and I needed a wee, and I was low on blood sugar. And I
victim. That's what that screams out to me. How come you know so much about your anatomical state? I was low on blood sugar.
That's a condition I have.
Capacitor was low.
It's like a computer game, and you get all little things in his vision.
My weapons included a pistol, a knife, and a stick.
I had infinite lives.
I found a cheat mode.
No, I'm hypoglycemic. Anyway, so
oh god,
stop it! I'm not trying to get any sympathy. Stop it! If you keep singing in the middle of my stories, we'll never get to the end. So I'd left my keys behind, so I'd lock myself out. So I thought, I know what to do. I'll go to the pub. I'll go to the local pub, and I'll have a wee there, and I'll wait for someone to come home, and then I can get in. But on my way there, a man on a bicycle, a teenager, a youth, drove into the back of me on his bicycle deliberately.
Oh.
And then he drove past me, and then he stopped and drove towards me and started threatening me.
He's not driving, he's riding.
Riding. And he started threatening me.
Oh,
and I didn't understand.
What did he say? What were the threats?
I couldn't understand what he was saying. And
how do you know it was threatening? Just
because he was looking really threatening, and he kept on saying,
nice hair.
"No, what he said." What
he was mad.
I worked it out because I was wearing all white. I was wearing white linen trousers and a white linen top
and a pointed hat. I'm just going about my business with no blood sugar.
Running across. For some reason, this caused a problem. Why, oh why, am I not free to follow my clan hobbies? Trev, if you will drive round a metropolis dressed up as a grand wizard of the clan, people are going to be offended, Trev.
No, I was wearing sandals, and he thought that I was a kung fu man. Because
I don't think so.
He did, because
when I see Trev, I think, hello, Bruce Lee's back in town.
It looked like I was wearing a judo outfit, I think, to him. He was probably stoned or something.
What were you dressed up?
This poor man.
This poor man drove into the back.
Probably stoned. I mean, I dressed up as Gandalf and welked around a bit.
He drove into the back of me, yeah.
Is that you?
Rode into the back.
He rode into the back of me.
He's driving. Did he crash?
Then he came back and started threatening me. And then when I worked out what he was saying, he said, "Come on, then, show us your moves. Do your kung fu on me." And
you're making that up.
I'm not making that up.
No, I believe that, but that's just bullying. He's not actually.
Yeah, he was bullying.
He didn't think you were a.
He did, because I looked at me and I saw.
I looked at me to do him just then. He goes. He did think I was a kung fu master because I looked at me. Trevor, you're not an abstract idea from yourself.
Yes, he had an out-of-body experience, panic and hyperglycememia.
I was very frightened, but I didn't say anything. I reckon I was a little bit like that bloke off of Kung Fu because I didn't say anything, and I think that spooked him a little.
Why didn't you go like Monkey Magic and make a pink cloud come and fly away on it?
I don't know.
Why didn't you?
What happened was he drove off, and I thought, I can relax. He rode off on his bicycle.
Yeah.
He came back with a brick in his hand. And he said, "I'd like to see you now try and get out of this. I'm gonna."
I think you could fight better without a brick in your hand.
Yeah, the brick.
Unless you could, I'd throw it and then fight.
He said, "Have you ever had your head smashed in?"
The answer to this is obvious. I see how I'm walking around dressed like a pansy, a clan pansy. Don't look like I've had my head smashed in.
I thought it was a rhetorical question, so I didn't answer. And then what happened is, this lady drove up in her car. She really did drive in a car.
She pedalled up in her car.
And she wound down the window.
She flew by in her Austin Allegro.
And she poked her head out and she said, "Are you all right? Do you need any help?" And I nodded.
Oh,
and she
why
said,
are you speaking to anyone in this story?
Because I'm bursting for the toilet.
Written by Buster Keaton.
I really thought I was going to get beaten up. And then she let me I hopped into her.
Hang on, he hasn't stolen anything from you yet.
No, he's holding a brick and threatening to smash my head in.
That's not mugging. That's a threatening assault.
It's a man with a brick. I like the sounds of this guy.
Yeah.
I'm with him.
Don't be silly. And she drove me back. She drove me back to my house, which is not where I wanted to go because I'm locked out. So I had to stand on my doorstep.
Why didn't you say to her, I'm not don't want to go there.
Because in this story,
I did say that.
Trevor thinks it's a Keystone Cops. I think he can't communicate with language.
I was dazed. I didn't know what to do, and I just stayed in her car. And then I think she thought I was a bit silly, and she wanted to get rid of me quite quickly.
Well, she grew even this good Samaritan eventually thought, I'd rather see him get his head bricked in.
Yeah, because I asked her if she knew the bloke, and I think she that confused her.
Why would you ask that? Trevor, you're odd. Let's not talk
Trevor,
to you
this story's just fizzled out and the wheels have fallen off.
You're ridiculous. I'm on the mobile phone to David Baddiel. He's in a monkey sanctuary in Stoke. We can't put him through the desk now. David, can I talk to you in a minute on air?
Well, you can try, yeah, but I'm losing you and you're coming and going a lot, and it's my birthday.
All right, David.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
If you like, but I think it might be quite difficult to hear you.
We can hear you now, and you're on a loudspeaker on my mobile.
Something, Russell, in all seriousness, I'm not allowed to shout in case it scares the monkeys.
Okay. Blimey.
You can try.
Okay.
It's quite difficult.
All right, we'll call you. We'll try again in 20 minutes. But it sounds to me like that's a pack of lies about them monkeys and stuff.
I promise you, I'm in a monkey sanctuary in Stoke.
All right, David. No.
On my children's life, and they're here with me.
All right, fair enough. All right, we'll call you back in 20 minutes, David.
All right, okay. But if you can't get me, then I will talk to you again next time.
Okay, you're not going to answer the phone.
Like in monkey sanctuaries, the reception's always terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's awful in a monkey sanctuary. I'll talk to you later, David.
All right, bye.
Bye.
He's not going to...
The chances of David Baddiel answering that next phone call are 0, aren't they?
What? It's his birthday's in a monkey sanctuary.
Well, you've got a special day on your birthday, haven't you?
I think there's so many excuses there, weren't there, though? I'm in a monkey sanctuary, it's my birthday, the children are there, you can't shout in a monkey sanctuary. Oh, yeah, anyone who's been to a monkey sanctuary will remember the bone-chilling silence of the monkey. What defines a monkey? The eerie, spooky lack of noise. The quiet. Oh, I need to reflect and write a poem. I shall retire to the monkey sanctuary to soothe my spirit. That man's mad. What about that other story, Matt, from your childhood, where that lad Darren French used to go by you and jab you with a pin? He used to go.
That only happened once.
Remember when, like, you know, when people had stunt nuts on the backs of their BMXs? Like Darren French used to be driven around. He was one of the kids at Matt's school. He used to be driven
He
around.
wasn't at my school. He lived in my area. He shouldn't have used his real name. He's still got a pin.
He drove around on the back of these stunt nuts.
Once he was on the back of some like sort of divvy kid was riding him around.
Like, that was his odd job. That was his servant.
And he went past, and he was standing on the stunt nuts at the back of the bike, and he had a pin.
Yeah.
And he went past and went pin, and stuck it in my arm.
I stabbed Matt with a pin. Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pin. I like the way he announced it. Pin.
And away.
And then off he went on his chariot. I admire that, lad.
Good, I like that.
It's creative bullying. I was always scared of Mr. Nosy.
Yeah.
Why?
He had a big long nose.
Why are you always on about
But also, didn't you think that he used to sleep underneath your bed?
Yeah, have I told you that?
Yeah.
Say about that, Matt.
When I was little and I had a cold, I was really like 3 probably. I kept being given tissue to blow my nose with.
Kept giving it. He focuses on the wrong details. People would come to me and give me tissue.
There was a queue outside his bedroom door.
Chelsea pensioners would come. People in Robin Hood costumes.
Hendrix, Kleenex.
Merlin.
My mum and dad gave me some tissue. And it's only like over 3 days.
It's only like 3 days.
It was just
Get
a
bogged
while,
down
3
in
days.
facts.
And I kept putting the tissue under my pillow, like little kids do, or up your sleeve. Do you remember that? But in bed, it's
like it on the sleeve.
It built up into a little mountain of tissue. And I laid in my bed, and I thought, Mr. This is ridiculous.
Go on,
It's very innocent,
say it. Get out, be truthful.
I thought Mr. Nosy was laying under my bed with his nose up under my pillow. That's why my pillow had a lump in it. I couldn't get my head comfortable because Mr. Nosy's nose was there.
Why would Mr. Nosy do that? Why would he even do it? And why did you not see the corollary between you putting something under your pillow and then there being a lump? Why did you not understand that?
I don't know.
No,
It's
but
a child.
But as a kid, underneath the bed, that is a mysterious place, isn't it? We've all
Probably
been
wasn't your childhood, Trevor. It's probably littered with mouse corpses and razor blades.
No, but everybody was scared of what's underneath the bed. We still are, aren't we?
Not
No,
really.
It's an
Not really.
I know
archetypal
what's
fear.
under my bed. It's them Russian fellas. They like it under there. Come on, boys, I say each morning. Another day, do some washing up, then it's back to the kissing.
Do you remember when you were a kid? It only seemed to happen then. When a bird comes in your house and flies up and hits the windows.
I liked that.
Yeah,
You
that used to
liked
happen all
that?
the
That was
time.
terrifying.
It's exciting, yeah.
Bird in the house, bird in the house. Reality all over. Birds are in the house. There's a baker in the garden. I used to like it when a bird came in the house. Also,
No, you didn't.
I did, Matt. I did.
I did.
I really was into it, man. Because I used to like over the road from our street. There was this disused chalk pit, and there was like loads of nestling animals and stuff like that. I used to go over there. I used to capture baby birds and newts and stuff like that, bring them home because I think I'll look after them better than their parents. These
is this when you made birds live in your AT-AT walker?
I did make a bird live in my AT-AT walker. You know the AT-AT walker from like Star Wars.
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, Empire Strikes Back.
Four-legged monster
Scene. Yeah, I opened that back bit up, and instead of having stormtroopers in there, I had to have a baby bird in there. Terrified. The Empire will not ever triumph with this baby bird troop, who seems to be very scared of me and simply won't eat worms given to it by a chuckling fat 8-year-old boy. Them birds always died in the end. It was a shame about that, wasn't it?
Did you give them burials? Did you give them funerals?
Well, I ate them, Trevor. No, I gave them nice, respectful. I just put them in the Millennium Falcon, and then I'd do a flyby. It was very respectful. All the X-wing fighters would line up to pay homage. Matthew, remember in your stupid childhood what happened to you with that bird trapped in your wall that your parents wouldn't believe you about?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, I think I must have been about 4, and I went to bed one night, and then, do you remember those...
I went to bed one night, I was tired with some port.
Stop picking holes in my stories. I said when I was a baby, I was in a chair. Oh, you were once a baby in a chair.
You said it like, I used to be a baby. You said it like it was Quantum Leap.
I used to be a painter in Paris.
Then, I remember the jazz era. It was fantastic. Then I was in Frisco, man, in the 60s. Ichiku Park. I was in Ichiku Park. Yeah, with Kerouac, man. It was mental.
What a silly man.
Go on then, tell us about this bird trapped in your wall if it's not an absolute lie.
There's you know those grills that go...
Yeah, they're sort of like vent grill things.
Vents on a fire, or what do you call it, a chimney breast.
Chimney breast.
You can just have it in the wall. Yeah.
It was just in... What?
Chimney breast.
Yes. I was in bed, and then that opened up. Well, basically, I was saying to my mum, there's a monster that lives in my wall, because that opened up and a claw came out of there, and then this thing went... like that, and it was terrifying.
And you thought there was a monster in the wall?
Yeah, and I was...
Naive.
You know, do you remember that? Well, I was 4.
But still, Matt,
was a monster.
You're old enough to have an Alsatian as a girlfriend. You're old enough to appreciate the idea of aviation and birds.
It's a platonic relationship. And I cried.
My mum said, sick if you had a relationship.
Well, you'll listen to my stupid story.
Go on.
And my mum said, I said to my mum, there's a monster living in the wall. And she obviously took that as childish nonsense and said, no, there isn't, go back to bed. This happened over a few... Well, basically, there was a crow trapped in the wall.
Dying
in the
slowly.
Yeah, so this went on for a few nights, and it got more and more like we'd go like that, and it would open the thing, and its beak would come out and its claw. And then one night, my mum was putting me back into bed, getting a bit annoyed about it, and then it finally came out when she was there, and she just held on to me and went, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
You're probably going to grow up to be a right freak. That story, Matthew, is certainly terrifying.
But I'm not scared of birds now.
I'm so proud of that podcast that I've just allowed myself to feel a bit sexy.
I think that podcast's like a child of ours. We've let it loose into the world.
Will that podcast be alright?
Yes.
I wonder where it'll get to in the chart. We're at number 8 now, aren't we?
We're at number 9. We've slipped back.
Oh, why? We've not gone down ever.
Because you can't be bothered to iron your clothes.
Trevor, why don't you iron your clothes? We could get to number 7 if you weren't such a ragbag.
We don't have a little icon on the comedies page.
Right, we'll sort this out. We're going to get an icon on that comedy
Thank
page.
you for listening to this podcast.
Yeah, you are the good ones. You're the ones helping it go up the chart, not like Trevor. Crinkly, wrinkly, cocky, locky. Thanks for everything, viewers. Listeners!
Thanks for downloading this trial from the BBC. Find out more at bbc.co.uk/6music.
BBC
6music.